Yeah, right. Johannes, your assessment, please.
A difficult one. Of course, we didn't get off to the best start, it's fair to say. I think after that we actually showed some courage out there. We showed some good character in the team, some good personality, tried to get back into the game, but we struggled probably creating enough good chances. And it was also a game where, even though we were 1-0 behind, we had to defend still a lot, and we have to make sure that we didn't open up too much as a team, which we discussed before the game, and we tried to prepare that before the game, that there were certain areas of the pitch where we could allow them to be on the ball. There were certain areas where we had to be very aggressive and intense. So I'm actually pleased with our defensive performance in first half, and probably also a big part of second, because I don't think they really created too many chances, especially first half. But of course, it's a difficult scenario to be 1-0 down after a minute.
Yeah, what would you put that down to? Is it just cold, maybe a little bit defensively? The structure wasn't quite right just earlier.
Yeah, the structure is not right. We don't cover enough space, and we don't have enough different lines in our pressing game to begin with, and we open up a little bit too much space, which gives them the opportunity to go in behind us. It's a top team, Leeds, and they can find those just tight spaces and get into, and we knew that beforehand, and I think we tried to go up and stress them and see if we can provoke some mistakes, and they found that little space to provoke a mistake from us instead.
You talked a lot about game pictures, but after that, obviously setback, you must have been happy with the type of game it turned out to be. You had a lot of possession.
Yeah, and I think actually also some good moments. I think we had O'Neill's chance after that. We have Kellen Fisher on the edge of the box, where it has potential to be a bigger chance than that. Of course, we struggle to create open chances, and we struggle to get into the box and really put them under pressure. But I think the reaction was good, and I will be the last one to sit here and blame the players for the performance today, because I think they did what they could, and they were fighting and they were supporting each other. And it's also fair to say that we are probably not in a position at the moment where we can go away against Leeds United and say that we just have to win.
Felt like there was a big moment early in the second half with Tanaka. Did you feel he should have been on the pitch?
You normally ask me those questions, Paddy, and I had a word with the ref afterwards, because I of course needed some kind of a explanation on that one. That's a big call, but that the last thing I should make it sound like is that it's because of that decision we lost the game, because it's not. Leeds were the better side today, and they fully deserved the win, and there's nothing in that. Of course, could it have changed the game picture if that situation have been different? Probably, yeah.
And as you say, sort of parallel with Sheffield, where you're in the game, you get Sargent on, you get Ante on, and then the second goal, maybe an individual error as well, just keep the ball in play.
Yeah, we should take a better decision. But of course, also those decisions are probably not all of them on a top level, because we are under pressure. We are a little bit stressed in those moments, and then it is when you have to defend some crosses in a row, then it is always better just to get it out of play and be able to organize the team again. But it is those moments that are critical for getting a result in a game like today, because it is those moments that will decide it, and they have a little bit more probably experience. They have a little bit more quality also on those situations of the game, and that's why they punish us. And it was a good time for them to score, I would say, because just a couple of minutes more, 5-10 minutes more with that 1-0, we could have created something at the end, and it's not more than a corner kick or a counter attack or one offensive situation before we could have scored a goal. So we believed in it, even though we had to fight hard for just staying in the game today.
As you managed to get Sargent a little bit longer on the pitch, is that just in the bigger picture, just moving forward, that's important to get him on there, get him building up his minutes?
It is, but it's not ideal for us that we have to give him the load in games, because we cannot control it, the exact amount of running meters and sprints and stuff like that. So we still have to be a little bit careful, and we would have preferred that we could give him some more load and intensity in training, so we were actually 100% able to control how much he's doing. So that's the reason why we are a little bit careful and don't start him, or don't put him on from the start of second half, because we cannot afford to lose him. And and also the reason with Ante not being a starter today, because he was out of energy. There was no more, and we knew that we had to find other options up front, and Josh will hopefully soon be a part of that as a starter, but we still have to be careful because we cannot afford to lose him.
And talking of options, obviously Oscar maybe outside the camp, that would have been quite a surprising selection. But what did you see there? Why did you want to go with Oscar tonight?
Yeah, we knew beforehand that Josh could not start and Ante could not start. We knew that there would probably be a little bit of space around their fullbacks, so we wanted Onel to see if he could create something out of that. And I think actually we were close to doing that. He also their fullback got a booking early in first half, which could have again led to better situations for us, and then also the defensive game plan where Oscar is a hard-working player and he covers a lot of ground, and he's really not a selfish player in that matter. He just keeps on running and will do everything for the team. So that was with that also a defensive approach to make sure that we were compact as a team and we didn't open up space that we know that they can be good in. So it was also from a defensive perspective.
But it just underlines again the faith you've got in him, 18 years of age, and you trust him against Leeds at Ellen Road that he can do that role. Yeah,
and that's where we are. I've said it a couple of times. We still have to be careful with those young players because some of them probably play a little bit too much, and we have to be careful not putting pressure on their shoulders because they're not ready for it. It has to be others, but at the moment we have to play who's available, and Oscar is available and he's working hard, and I fully trust him to be able to do the job in there. But it's also fair to say that not because of his age, but his experience in this league, that he and some of the others probably need those last 10-15% to really be able to compete against a top team as Leeds.
A couple more if I can. Johannes, 12 days or so out from the window. Is it as you were? You're in a position where you're just seeing what's going on?
It's a really, really tricky one because I think everyone can see that we struggle a little bit at the moment with players available, and we don't have many, and we have to bring players on the bench who hasn't really been a part of the team in the season so far, and just to make sure that we have enough to cover that. But also on the other side, we know that some of the players that we miss at the moment, they will be available in 2-3 weeks time. So it really has to be some good players and some players that will fit into the long-term strategy if we have to do something in the market, because otherwise we just in 3 weeks time end up with too many players in the squad, and that's also not ideal. So I think the answer is for now that we just have to deal with the situation and make sure that everyone is fit and available for the game on Saturday, or at least as many as possible, and then accept we are where we are. I know it sometimes can be frustrating also for me, also for the players, because we all want to be competitive, we all want to win games, but we also just have to be realistic about the situation we're in.
Yeah, and on the final point, as you say, it's back to Carrow Road now. You've had two very difficult, probably as difficult as it gets now, Sheffield Saturday and here tonight. But 3 of the next 4 at home. You had a very good spell at Christmas time. Is that what you'll emphasise to the players now? You've got a block of games at home, you can get things going again.
Yeah, and important also to mention that they are still in a good place, and they're still fighting and believing. And I just had some talks with them just before the game here tonight. What should be our approach to the game, and they fully believe that we can play our game, even though we probably in moments of it today struggled a little bit and really struggled to find the rhythm and the flow, and we're not really quick enough in our positions. We're not quick enough in our decisions, also defensively in some moments. But we tried, and there's many ways to deal with a game like tonight, and we will try to do the same again on Saturday, even though we know that it's probably going to be the same players that will play in the game tonight that will play again on Saturday. So it's for us to make that game plan where we still can look fresh, where we still can play the game with energy, but also accepting that a lot of players have played a lot of minutes recently without too much time off. So we have to come up with a perfect game plan, but it probably helps us a little bit that it's at home.
Thanks, Johannes.
Paddy, anybody else? All good? As Tanaka came off, you were whipping your arm around your head with the fans.
Yeah.
Any reason for that gesture?
I think he's a good player.
Nothing to do with the fact he should have been sent off before we got substituted.
I will never be in charge of decisions like that. There's 3-4 officials that have a better view in mine, and also probably a better education in terms of that. But I think he's a great player.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.